Welcome back to the All Things Everything podcast presented by Gulf Coast Smoke. My name is Alonzo,
And I'm Sabrina.
and this is episode 3. So, we always like to start our podcast off with just a little bit of a conversation, kind of a recap on how the week went. We did a couple of recipes this week, and today we celebrated our son's birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, and, we were kind of talking about it a little bit ago. Chuck E. Cheese is great and all that stuff, but, man, I'm like, 2 hours at Chuck E. Cheese is just wild.
It's exhausting.
Oh, dude, you don't think I was telling you in the car right after, I did not think 2 hours was enough. And then it's like, it just goes by like that. And you actually get to do everything that you needed to do. It's just crazy. But like what you were saying was, well, you can explain it. Like they're basically coaching you on what to do the whole time. Like it's weird.
Right. So you get there and they're like, okay, what pizzas do you want to order? How many drinks? All this stuff. You're trying to order food. They're trying to hand out your wristbands or your coins so the kids can go play.
Yeah.
They go to play and 10 minutes later it's like, hey, pizza's here.
Yeah.
Come eat. Right?
Yeah. And then you're done with the pizza. You go back out. The kids are playing again. And then they have to come back for ice cream and cake. And then you're opening presents and all that stuff. So it's just a wild experience. But it wasn't actually our son's actual birthday today. As funny as it sounds, I can hear him at the door right now. I can hear him at the door. So this is the first, okay, you're going to have to bear with us. This is the first time we're doing a podcast while this dude is awake and or at the house. So we kind of figured that it might be difficult, but we've told you guys this before, and it is just the truth. This is literally our lives. This is why we like to create this content, because we do feel like there's probably people out there that they want to create videos. They want to do a podcast, but they have kids, and it's not stopping us, right? Obviously, we're not going to neglect them, but I promise you, he's fine. They have everything they need out there. We set him up with the Switch. This dude's like not addicted, but he really enjoys playing Mario 3D World right now.
Yeah.
But the way he says it, Mario 3D World, he's hilarious. But he's actually getting pretty decent at it to the point where he can finish levels by himself, and it's just so funny. But yeah, so if this podcast ends up being a little bit different than the past two, bear with us, and we love you guys and we appreciate it. I can literally see his feet at the bottom of the door right outside of our office.
Yeah.
And I can hear him like, Can I come in? Can I come in? Can I come in? Watch this. Come over here, son.
Open the door.
Open the door. You can't open it.
Oh, yeah. He's got mittens.
Look at this dude. There were two flippery. Why are you wearing a full-on Spider-Man? It looks like you're about to go out in the snow, brother.
When it doesn't even snow in Texas.
Oh, and you got your Spider-Man flippers on. Slippers. Sorry.
Got us talking wrong.
I know. Okay, buddy. Go back out there with your sisters. We're going to try and finish this up, okay? Love you. Yeah, and that
didn't even tell us what he wanted.
Yeah, and that's I think he wanted to show us his outfit.
Oh, okay.
And that's our lives right there. But like I said, the way that we actually talked about this last week, because one of my friends told me, he's like, dude, is it weird that I want the podcasts to be longer? And I told him, I promise you, we could easily, without a doubt, go 2 hours. Because once you start, I mean, it's just like a husband and wife or two friends having a conversation. It's very, very natural. It feels very, very easy for us. One of the things that my wife and I do on road trips, like the whole time, is we'll just talk.
Right.
We will completely turn off the radio. We'll have conversations about, hey, what do we want to get done this week? How do you feel like we're progressing in our business? Do you think there's things we can do better? Are we doing some things bad? A lot of different conversations go on with us just inside the vehicle. And that's why I think that this podcast feels so natural to do, because this is what we do. We have conversations like this all the time.
Right.
Either way, yeah, if our son comes in like that today, sorry about that. But like I said earlier, we appreciate you guys being patient with us. So we did create a couple of recipes this week for our social media. The first one that we did was backyard chicken.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of talked about it. What were we going to do? we've been making so much competition food that we just felt like making some chicken in the backyard over coals. If it got a little burnt, we didn't care.
Right.
Didn't have to look perfect. We weren't,
That's the way we like to eat it.
I mean, and that's the thing. Sometimes when we post our competition food, people are like, oh my gosh, sauce on that brisket. Oh my gosh, this on the chicken. You injected your chicken. You did this, you did that. Why would you do that? Man, honestly, we would never do that in our backyard.
Right.
We're just, I've explained it like this before. We're just playing the game. We're just trying to win. So this week we got the opportunity to actually just make some backyard chicken, and it tasted so good.
Oh man, that char.
The char, I mean, literally, all we did was we put it directly over some B&B charcoal on our Weber kettle. I flipped it every 3 to 5 minutes. I used that base. I used Southern Hospitality, and it just, moving it around the coals, but it was under coals the whole time. I did not do a 2-zone fire. I just threw the coals at the bottom, spread them out.
Right. And there's people who are going to watch that and they're going to, oh, that's burnt.
Yeah.
But that's what we were going for. Not
Yeah.
burnt. It's not burnt.
Yeah,
It's
it's
got
not burnt.
char, and it adds so much flavor
Yeah.
and texture.
And it doesn't taste bitter. It
Right.
doesn't taste gross. It tasted really, really good. We topped it with some Head Country sugar-free original barbecue sauce, which was really good.
Mhm.
We've obviously tasted it before that recipe, but we've talked about this before. There's only a couple of sugar-free barbecue sauces that we actually like because most of them, you use the word perfectly, they taste so artificial.
Mhm.
And that back end flavor is just like, oh my God, you
It's hard
can't.
to get past. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard to get past. But the chicken, we put the sugar-free sauce on it, and it just turned out really, really good. So, I mean, if anybody's out there trying to cut back on sugar, the Killer Hogs and the Head Country barbecue sauces are both incredible. The Killer Hogs one we actually have had for a while. We had a couple of bottles. We're completely out of one, but it just tastes really good. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say it tastes exactly the same
Right.
because it definitely does not. I mean, sugar is probably a pretty large ingredient in both of those, but it tastes really, really good, and you don't get that nasty, weird aftertaste, which is something I can really appreciate. They probably worked really hard to create those sauces, and you just have to, sit back and enjoy them, and for what they are absolutely delicious.
Right. I don't think you should go into it thinking that it's going to taste just like the original thing because it's not.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's bad. I think they're great options for people who are on, a health journey
For
or
sure.
just can't eat sugar.
Yeah.
So I
Which-
think they're really good options. Head Country definitely has more than one flavor that
Yeah.
is sugar free.
Yeah, so
is
we got
good.
the hot and spicy original and the apple habanero, which are 3 really popular blends from them. Well, I'm sorry, not blends, sauces from them. And then they put them in a sugar-free version, and they're all really good.
Right.
And you kind of said health journey, so this isn't even on our notes for the podcast, but I do want to talk about it because for whatever reason, I feel like this is somewhere where we can be more personal. I've kind of talked about it before on the channel, and there was one time I think on the channel where I was like, oh, I'm going to try and eat better. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to do that. I want to lose weight. But, I think I talked to you literally yesterday or the day before, and I really want to start doing a better job of eating better. I think a lot of the times when we start eating bad, it's really weird because obviously I'm the biggest one in our family. Our kids are pretty thin. You're very thin. But sometimes when we start eating bad, it's just when we're so busy
Right.
and we're always doing something, and it's like, oh man, we filmed that, we did this, we had to go deliver spices today. It's already 7:30. We haven't even started dinner. Let's just go pick up a burger. Let's just drop in and grab a
Right.
pizza.
Kids have activities
yeah,
2 nights out of the week.
yeah. So 2 nights out of the week, the kids are doing ballet or hip hop. Then obviously we're trying to post social media content all the time. We're trying to film it. We have to, we have to edit. So like right after we film this, I'll start editing it right away. And I'm not going to get it done by any means, but it is going to start the process. So I'll do a couple hours tonight, and then tomorrow I'll start editing more and hopefully be done by tomorrow night. It's just how it goes. And it's hard to break away from that and make a healthy meal, but we're going to do our best to try. And I really want to try and lose some weight. I mean, a couple of years back, I look at pictures. I mean, I wasn't this big. So we obviously have a food channel. We're going to create food content, and it's not going to be healthy by any means, but in between that, I want to do a little bit better. So
Well, you know what's interesting is I think at the healthiest that you were or
I was
that
cooking
we've
a lot.
been is we were grilling a lot.
A
And
lot.
I think for people when they think about barbecue, which is funny, somebody asked a question, and it might be in one of our questions of the day, but they asked if there's a difference between barbecuing and grilling, and I
For
think
sure.
people have this idea that barbecue is all about sauce,
Mhm.
sugar, fat,
Yeah.
richness, but when we were at our healthiest is when we were grilling a lot,
A lot. Yeah.
and it's you're not coating things in oil or butter or anything. You
Mm-mm.
just go straight on the charcoal.
Yeah, you
Um,
keep it simple.
yeah, grill some vegetables, maybe put a little bit of butter and olive oil on that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your protein, you're not having to use all those extra things.
Yeah.
You're not using any extra sugars, um, or unhealthy ingredients most of the time when you're grilling. You just
For
a
sure.
simple meat, vegetable,
Yeah.
maybe a carbohydrate.
Yeah, I mean, like most of the time we were eating pretty like low carb and we weren't even trying to.
Right.
It's because like we were eating a lot of kebabs. Remember we were eating a lot
Yeah.
of chicken and
Turkey
steak kebabs,
burgers, which
turkey burgers,
don't
which
hate on a turkey burger.
they're good. They're good. Now am I gonna sit here and say it tastes just as good as not, but they're good for what they are. I mean, we're making a lot of stir fries on the griddle with some vegetables and with some meat. And like you said, we would just season it up with Southern Belle.
Right.
Most of the time we're using Southern Belle only. Now we have that base, which does have a little bit of sugar in it, but it's not gonna put it overboard.
You're
It's
only
not like,
using maybe a teaspoon.
yeah, it's not gonna, I mean, and at that point, my blood work was really, really good. Right now it's not bad, but it was
Right.
really, really good. Like the doctor was like, man, do it, keep doing what you're doing. And we're grilling all the time. So again, this is not on our notes. This is just me going off on something. But I mean, if anybody out there is actually trying to get a little bit healthier and you love grilling, man, just get creative with it. Like I said, we ate a lot of chicken kebabs with zucchini, broccoli, onions, bell peppers, steak every once in a while.
Right.
We would eat a lot of steaks in general. We would do burgers just with no bun. I would do like sugar-free ketchups and stuff like that. And I love cauliflower rice now because that's what we did. And we weren't even necessarily trying, but we were cooking so much to try and create so much content, even though we didn't really focus on making good content, if that makes sense. We were
Right.
still grilling all the time, and it just really helped us. Well, it helped me out. So
Mhm.
maybe we'll try and get back to that. But let's move on to the next topic because, like I said, that really wasn't in our notes today. That's just me talking about it. And we also did make a smoked meatloaf.
Mhm.
That was actually requested by somebody. They sent me a message and they said, hey, man, love your channel. I love the smoked meatloaf recipe, but I can't save a short, right? I
Right.
can't,
Because we did this as a short
yes,
a while back.
yes, I can't save it as a short. Is there any way that you could make it in long form? And I like that. I love that people are trying the recipes that we're putting out.
Trying to save our recipes
Yeah.
for later on.
I mean,
right?
that means so much to us because there probably are other smoked meatloafs out there that are delicious, that are amazing, and he
Mhm.
wanted to try ours. Means a lot. So if you guys ever want to see something in long form content, just drop a comment down below, let us know, and we'll do our best to try making it for you. But yeah, I mean, the smoked meatloaf obviously just turns out it's so good.
Yeah.
Meatloaf, I like meatloaf. I
Oh,
know,
I love meatloaf.
I know.
Meatloaf seems like one of those things that like back in the day it's I don't even know what the word is that I'm looking for, but it's not the meal you want to eat, right? It's like
It almost
not
seems
something
like,
you would
oh,
want to
that's
choose.
a cheap meal.
Right.
Right? Like,
That
that's a
there you
cheap
go.
meal. Like, oh, you're.
Slathered in ketchup, which I don't mind, first of all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it like that.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yes, that wouldn't be my first choice, but
I don't like it slathered in ketchup. I've had it. I don't hate it, but it's not my choice. Personally, I like the way we make it with barbecue sauce on top, which a lot of barbecue sauce is ketchup based, so it's not like far
not bad.
fetched.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not far fetched to say like, oh, ketchup on top is good because it's not horrible, but it's not my favorite. For this recipe though, the way we made it, we did make it a little bit different than we did last time because last time we had the high temp cheese
Yes.
and this time we didn't.
didn't have
So it is a little bit different from our original, but you guys are going to see that recipe come out next. I'm sorry.
They've
Well,
already seen it.
they already saw that. So I'm getting mixed up because we're filming this obviously before the recipe comes out. So you
Right.
guys already saw that recipe, and I think that you're really going to enjoy it because the flavor on it, it's just so good. Now, a lot of people use pork and beef when it comes to their smoked meatloaf, which I think that both ways are completely fine. But for whatever reason, I don't even know why. We just choose to use ground beef.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, that's what I've done my whole life too when I make meatloaf. Like, I don't really like now meatballs. I feel like that's a good place to add in the half pork, half beef, which even most of the time we just do all beef
yeah,
meatballs as well.
I
But
don't know why we do that because most of the recipes I see out there, they are pork and beef. Sometimes people even use like the spicy pork. But yeah, we just keep it simple. We do all
Yeah.
ground beef. I mean, we pick up some HEB ground beef and we just have at it, and it turns out really good. And it's such a simple recipe. You
yes,
can make it on any cooker, and you can throw it in the oven if you don't have a smoker.
right.
I would be interested. I don't know, would an air fryer work? Probably not, right?
Maybe.
We might
I
have to
think-
try that. We might have to test that
Yeah,
out
an air fryer meatloaf.
because I've said this before. The air fryer, you make some wings on that thing.
Yes.
They come out crispy. They come
Yeah.
out delicious. I am never gonna hate on an air fryer wing ever. They're so good. There's some things that we put, like the other day I called them like pork burn ends or pork chop burn ends. I was trying something. It didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted, but for whatever reason, I had to have them, and I wanted to make them in the air fryer. And I will say, they were cooked perfectly, but the flavor just didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted to, for sure.
Yeah, the other day we made, what was it, cauliflower tots, which the flavor, I mean, I could eat cauliflower tots, but something about the texture of them,
the
like,
air
made me
fryer?
keep eating them.
Yeah, because they're like crunchy on the outside and then they're soft on the inside.
Yeah.
That's what the air fryer does. It's such an awesome cooker. If you don't have an air fryer, I mean,
I'd like
don't
to see
sleep
some
on
of
it.
these grill brands come out with outdoor
Like an outdoor air fryer.
air fryer. Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
I bet you one of them will do it.
Yeah.
One of them will do it eventually. Or, like Blackstone, I'm pretty sure they make a griddle with an air fryer under it now.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think so. So, I mean, it's already starting to happen, but I bet you there's gonna be more and more a pellet grill and an air fryer all in one type thing. Something.
Right. Right.
I bet you there will be. Electronics are getting crazy these days for sure.
yeah.
But yeah, the recipe turned out really good, and it's simple. So if you guys are interested in trying it, go back to our channel right now and you can watch that. That just came out on Tuesday, and I think you're gonna enjoy it. So yeah.
All right. So now let's move on to the KCBS competition we have coming up here in 2 weekends.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Navy SEAL Danny Dietz Memorial Classic Cook-Off in Waller, Texas.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm super nervous about that one. I actually was on the phone with Bill Purvis last night for about 30 minutes or so, and he was like, "Man, just have some confidence. You're gonna be all right." He likes to stay a meet ahead, he said. So I think that's gonna be our goal, being 1 meet ahead and making sure that we do turn everything in. So we know how long it takes us to cook certain things. We just need to start earlier because now, instead of turning a brisket at 3, we're turning it in at 1:30, which is an hour and a half before we normally do. So that means to me, we need to start minimum an hour and a half earlier than we do right now on our brisket, which that would be 5 a.m.
Right. But to me, in my head, we've also got only 30 minutes in between each thing. So we're going to need extra time and normally it's both of us working on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're either going to try and need to give ourselves more time and
Yeah.
have things finished ahead of time.
No, I
Or-
think everything needs to be finished before we start working on chicken.
Right.
In the Cambro resting, we're gonna have to figure out a different way to rest our meats, in my opinion, which I don't want to go into too much detail on that today because the way that I like to share things with you guys is we need to test them first.
Right.
I don't like to tell you guys like, oh, I started using this new injection. It's a Gulf Coast Smoke best beef injection ever, which we don't have a beef injection coming out. So I'm just giving an example. But I don't like to tell people that because then I don't want people to trust us, right? And then it's like, oh, that didn't even work. So we're going to try some
Yeah.
things out. We've talked about what we're going to do. We know what we're going to do. And you guys will see some of that in the video because, I don't hold back. I pretty much show you guys everything, which I've had a lot of people tell me that they love that, and I've had a lot of people tell me, dude, why are you doing that? It is what it is. If you pick up everything that I do from video and you can apply that in your competition life, I'm happy. I promise you. The way I look at it is like this. My father always told me, if you as a person don't teach everybody around you, you're just no good. Because why would you want somebody to stay stagnant in any part of their lives? Like, help them, raise them up, and then still be better than them. That's the hardest part, right?
Yeah.
I teach you everything I know. Like, for example, I taught you everything I knew about editing, which was not much. You took it to another level, started learning even more, and you're much better than me at editing now. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. Whoa, who would I have been if I was like, hey, I'm not going to teach you anything? Like,
Right.
what kind of person would I have been if I didn't teach you anything about editing and said, learn it on your own, just like I did? Because, I mean, sometimes I was up till 3, 4 in the morning, like, trying to learn how to edit. Like, I want to do this. Like, how do I do it?
Yeah.
Even now, how do I do this? I need to learn how to do this. So I'll do research and I'll stay up late and I'll try. But there are things in life where you want people to take initiative and you want them to, okay, come on. What's my favorite barbecue sauce? What's my favorite seasoning? Well, you know what I'm going to answer on the seasoning. But yeah, sometimes people need to take the initiative. But like with the barbecue stuff, if people have genuine questions, I'm always going to help. Hey, how does your brisket feel? Or what temp do you take it to or whatever? Like, I'll tell you right now, my brisket's over 210 every time we pull it. Every single time. And you're thinking, that's crazy. No, it's competition.
Yeah.
It's just different. So back to the KCBS, because that's just the way I am. I can start talking and then not stop talking. We have some plans on what we're going to do. And I feel confident in our plan. I really, truly do. We just need to make sure that everything is done when we need it done. And if it is, and it's resting in the Cambro, and then we can pull and we can start preparing for the next thing, I think we're going to be just fine.
And so at this competition, there's about 120 teams competing.
Yeah.
A lot of,
It's going to be the biggest one we've ever gone to.
for sure, a lot of familiar names. I mean, there's LC, there's Chicken
Yeah.
Fried Barbecue, teams like Bullhorn Barbecue and
Mhm.
Barefoot that have been at a lot of the competitions we've been to. I also like to see teams like Race Crew, Smoking Wizards, War Pig.
Mm-hmm.
They all have their own products that they sell.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting to see that even though they have items out there on most shelves, obviously not Race Crew, right? Because they're
Yeah,
drum
they do drums,
smokers.
but they make really good drums, and they have drums in every sanctioning body.
Right.
I go to IBCA, someone's got Race Crew
They
drum
have a Race
smokers.
Crew or Orange one.
Yeah, our orange one's a Race Crew. We just ordered 2 more Race Crews because, funny enough, 2 of our gateways that we use are not ours. They're
Yeah.
Mr. Seibert's. Shout out to the Seibert family in general. They're just amazing. Mr. Seibert's letting me borrow his gateways. He probably forgot he has them. I mean, he's like, oh, Alonzo's just using them. Or like Luke texted me the other day as a joke. He's like, yeah, dude, I think those are your drums now, bro.
Right.
You know, but yeah, we got our Race Crews coming. I'm not sure when they're going to be ready, but we do have those coming. But yeah, no, I love it. I love it because,
These are established companies and they're still out there
and Race Crew is
competing.
a damn good cook. So if I'm not mistaken, he was for sure top 10, possibly top 5 in IBCA in the points chase this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. War Pig actually, so he is the president of IBCA. So
Oh, okay. I didn't
Mhm.
know that.
yeah, he's the president of IBCA, really involved in competition barbecue, has great products. We used to use the ham grenade a lot in our earlier days when we were trying to get into barbecue and figuring out
Mhm.
what everything was about. And then the Smoking Wizard stuff, I'm not going to give too much information out there, but let's just say that we got plenty of their products right recently, right? So, that's what I'll say. And like I told you guys, I don't like to tell too much information because I want to make sure that these things are going to work for us, but Smoking Wizards is definitely going to be in our trailer. And the products taste delicious. So shout out to all those guys. One that we didn't really mention was the Texas Chrome Heroes, right? Because we have it on our notes, right? Sometimes it's hard to forget. So Texas Chrome Heroes will be there, and they're the ones that put on that Texas 6-pack that we just went to in El Campo, that
Right.
whole series, which they're great
And they have
cooks.
multiple teams that are competing. So they compete under like Texas Chrome Heroes #1, number
Mhm.
2, number 3.
Yeah.
And
I don't
they're
know if they'll
all,
all be there. Oh,
I
right,
believe,
right behind you, Texas Chrome Heroes Foundation.
yeah.
Yeah, that's our ninth.
Well, I
ninth
believe I
place
looked
brisket.
at that,
That little video.
yeah, and I think, I'm pretty sure I saw at least like 3 of them,
Cool.
and so they all were getting walks
Yeah,
at this last one. So,
they're good cooks. I mean, and we also got Rio Valley Meats that we put down here. So
yeah,
that's Fred Robles, one of the best cooks in Texas. I mean, we named some of the best cooks in Texas that are going to be at this KCBS event, and then you got us.
Yeah.
But we're going to give it everything we got, and we're going to make sure that for all intents and purposes, we give it, like I said, everything we got, and hopefully we get a few walks over there and we can see how this goes. I'm excited to do a KCBS. Super excited.
Well, and so with KCBS, it's judged differently than IBCA and
Mhm.
CBA. So typically they have certified judges. Now they've taken classes and become certified
Yeah.
on what to look for as far as judging criteria. So typically the way that they still judge on your appearance, taste, and texture.
Yep.
But, in IBCA and CBA, where they're using plastic fork and knife, they're not
Yeah, no,
picking up these your entries. But here in KCBS, they're picking up your stuff. They want to make sure that your brisket, isn't falling apart. It's, you can fold it over your finger. It's not, when you pull it apart, it's not supposed to just rip instantly. You got to be able to pull it a little. And, with ribs, you don't want to take a bite and have it all pull away. You want to get your bite in there clean.
Yep.
Same thing with chicken, bite through skin. So it's going to be different than what we're used to. But I think that's where we might have an upper hand, because when we first got into competition cooking, that's what we were going for.
Well, because that's what you hear on TV,
right,
on every YouTube channel, and make sure it's tender but not too tender.
right.
And I'll tell you what, go talk to any good cook in Texas. I'm not saying across the states. In Texas, your food absolutely needs to be borderline overcooked.
Right.
Absolutely. It needs to be super duper tender because of that plastic fork and knife. And I don't think that KCBS is going to be quite like that. But again, I mentioned earlier that I was talking to Bill. Not every single one of these judges, it's possible that not all of them are actual certified judges.
Right.
Sometimes it's harder in Texas to get a full staff of certified judges.
Right.
So there is a possibility of actually having some backyard judges. But in KCBS, they're supposed to tell you the percentage.
Oh, okay.
90% certified, 10% uncertified, or 90% uncertified, 10% certified. So it should be able to give you some sort of idea of, hey, should I go more tender? Should I go less tender? Because if they're certified, you want it at that competition tenderness.
Right.
But if they're not certified, you want it to be like, hey, this is super tender.
Yeah.
You want to take it a little bit further than normal, but you don't want to take it so far that everything dries out.
Right.
And that's the hardest part about it but that's why you're injecting. That's why you're, just doing so many different little tricks to try your best to make sure that your food tastes good without it drying out.
Right. And so if anybody doesn't know, KCBS, that's Kansas City Barbecue Society, right? So that's not something we're used to doing in Texas. So they have, different things that they're looking for, like even with flavor, they want a little bit sweeter. Like here in Texas, we like things typically more savory.
Yeah, a little
I
more
would
peppery,
think.
I think, too.
Right. And so KCBS, they're looking for a little bit more sweetness. If you've tried, KCBS or Kansas City sauces, they're typically sweeter than like Texas barbecue sauces.
For sure. With Texas, you're getting a lot of tomato and pepper in there. Most Texas sauces, that's the way it's going to be. But with the Kansas City one, it's tangy, it's sweeter, it's more vinegar-based a little bit, and it's real thin. So there's huge differences. Like I said, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. We're going to be making some changes for that specific event. The cool thing about that event is it is going to be different in like every single way. But there's maybe 3 KCBS events that come to Texas, and at the absolute most, we would do those 3 a year.
Right.
We're not going to really start traveling and going to do KCBS events at this point in our career. Maybe if we start doing barbecue full time, we can start doing that. But, we would need like a fifth wheel, and
Right.
there would need to be a lot of things go differently in order for us to start doing that. So while it is going to be different, we're basically going to have one weekend where we're doing things differently, and then we're going to go back to the way we do things.
Right.
Right. And then that's the Texas competition way, super tender, fall apart, delicious barbecue, which obviously you always want to give delicious food, but yeah, it's going to be fun. And then also you're going to get to play with those boxes, put the kale in there, kale boxes. So
Yeah.
it's going to be fun.
Even the scoring is a little bit different. So like,
Yeah. So it's 1
typically-
through 9.
Yes.
9 is the highest you can get. The highest you can get is a 180. In CBA, it's 200. And yeah, it is going to be different altogether. But-
because CBA it's from what 10,
7.
9, 8, 7,
7 to
7 to 10.
Mhm.
And then so KCBS is 1 through 9, so a much broader
Yeah.
spectrum there.
I think 1 is like DQ though.
Yeah.
Like if you get a 1, you're
Right.
out. You're DQ'd. I
Yeah.
think. I mean, I could be wrong, but either way.
But they still drop the lowest score like IBC and CBA do. So
Yeah.
and typically it's a table of 6 judges, and so whatever your lowest score at that table was can be dropped.
At that one, I'm gonna try. I can't promise anything, but I'm gonna try on Friday night to hook up with Bill and see if I can't get to film him doing something in his trailer. I will say the last event I was hanging out with him in his trailer, and the coolest thing about that dude is he's literally one of the best cooks in America right now. So down to earth, such a cool dude. Like he's like, no, dude, come in my trailer. Like he doesn't hide anything from you, And I'm gonna try and talk to him and just say like, hey, is there anything you're prepping right now or doing right now that I can show my viewers to kind of let them into that chicken fried barbecue world? And I think that would be really cool if we could. But I'm not going to be pushy. I understand that not everybody wants, all their stuff out there. So I'll talk to him. I have his phone number. I'll shoot him a text. Say, hey, at any point on Friday, is there anything that I can video with you so we can get the viewers to know a little bit more about him as well? I mean, there's a lot of people that know about chicken fried barbecue, but there might be a few that don't. So maybe, we can introduce him to some people out there.
I think it's going to be really interesting at awards to see the different.
Oh, yeah, how it's going to be. And then also, they don't do songs or anything. They don't do numbers.
yeah.
They're just going to call our name
Right.
if we get a call.
Right. And so I think we talked a little bit about how we want to prepare
Mm-hmm.
for it, and we kind of have a game plan. We want things to be done earlier. But like, what are your goals for the outcome of this?
Yeah, I mean, see, this is where it gets really sticky because my goal is to win. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
I'm
To
the-
me, I think like one of the things I'm looking forward to is seeing how our ribs do, because I think
Yeah.
the way that we typically make ribs is suited well for KCBS
yeah,
as far as tenderness.
yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
We want everything to do well, but
Well, no, I mean, this just straight up, I want to win. I want to
Yeah.
win everything. I mean, that's just who I am. That's how I am. But if I'm being extremely realistic and I sit back and actually think about it, I would like to get at least 2 walks, and I would like a top 10 overall. It's going to be
Okay.
hard, but I would like 2 walks and a top 10 overall. And I would like for all of our placings to be a little more closer together
right.
because, we get a 9th brisket, a 40th ribs, and a 22nd pork and 14th chicken. Like, if we could have gotten that 40th down to like 25th, I would have actually been pretty happy,
right.
you know?
Especially with that number of teams.
Yeah.
That's a lot of teams. And so we really would like our scores to be
For sure.
close
Sure.
together,
Yep. I think, like I said, realistically, 2 walks, top 10 would be wonderful. I'm not going to be upset with 1 walk. I'm not going to be upset with a top 15, even a top 20. It's our first KCBS ever. My competitive nature, I want to go over there and win. I think anybody that goes to a barbecue competition and doesn't have that, you probably shouldn't be competing because I'm not trying to say you can't have fun. absolutely go have fun, but you're spending a lot of money, you're spending your time. Go over there and try and win that thing.
Yeah.
Even if your best friend's right there with you, like, beat your best friend. That's what I want to do. You know?
I think, and that shows in your food, right?
For sure.
Because you want to win. You've got a lot of passion.
Yep.
You're putting everything you can
And everything tastes
into
better.
all of those things.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So I think that's going to translate in the outcomes. I mean, maybe not every time, but yeah, I think that's everybody's goal
For sure.
to
To
or
go
it
win.
should be, right?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. But 2 top 10s, 2 calls, and the top 10 overall would be wonderful. That's what I'm shooting for. And when you put things out there in the world, you know how it goes. It's like, well, I thought you wanted 2 top 10s and then I get it, but that's what my goal is. And again, we're going to go over there as prepared as we can be. We're going to have as much fun as we can. We're going to get as much footage as we can because that's what we do. And this is also what we do, right? We go compete, we go have fun, and we're blessed that we can continue to do so. So let's just go have some fun and see what happens. For sure.
So before we go to this KCBS in a couple weeks, we are going to attend a competition in Victoria. Now, there were 2 days. It was back to back, Saturday or Sunday that we could compete.
Yep.
And we're going to do that Sunday.
Yeah. So we're going to do day 2 at the Sombrero Fest, and hopefully we do well there. I think the reason I wanted to go because it's Sunday and we leave Thursday to the KCBS. So we're
Right.
going to have to turn around quickly.
Yeah.
But the reason that I wanted to go was just to be in the swing of things, be in that competition mode, because I've found we compete a lot, but sometimes we'll skip weekends, and
You feel like it's been forever since we competed.
even just one weekend, you feel like your timing's off.
Right.
And so I just kind of want to be there and be in that mode and be in that groove of, okay, this is what I want to do. This is the water. Don't forget the water ban,
Yeah.
whatever. So I'm excited to do that one. Obviously, we'll film that. I want to hear your thoughts because we really want to do a brisket tell-all, but in an actual competition. Because here's the thing, we could do it at the house, but I promise you, it's not this. It's not. You're more relaxed at the house. I could have friends over here. They could be drinking beer, no big deal, whatever. I want to do it in an actual setting that it's hey, we're going to be there 5 a.m, starting the smokers, putting the drums on. Putting the brisket on, seasoning the brisket, our actual full 100% process, nothing hidden, everything. And I'm curious if you guys, I guess I'm sure they would want to see that, but I think that could be a super long video, unfortunately. I'm not sure if people are going to want to sit and watch 30 minutes of us telling every little detail about a brisket. So just let us know in the comments or reach out to me on social media, whatever. Is a brisket tell-all? Are you guys interested in that? Because we can try and make it happen, but it will take us pulling some strings in order to do so because Sabrina's going to have to be there with me at 5:30 in the morning.
Right. And in El Campo, it was easy because where we were staying,
Yeah.
we competed just right outside the door pretty much.
Yeah.
But,
And it would
anywhere
be-
else,
It would be easier at Danny Dietz, but I don't feel comfortable doing it our first time at a KCBS.
right, we want
don't-
to get everything there because that's our first time.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable doing it at the KCBS. So we're going to have to figure something out, but if you guys want that, just let us know and we'll do our best to make it happen. So, yeah, I mean, the CBA, that's standard business. We're going to go do what we do and hopefully come home with something.
Yes, and we'll have a video for that
Mm-hmm.
next week or
So, well, I mean, it would be the week after because we're competing next weekend, next Sunday. So, yeah. But I say we just move on into questions. We are thankfully still getting questions when it comes to the podcast, so thank you guys for that. We don't get to all of them every single time. We have to kind of break it down. So keep asking. What we do is we screenshot them, we write them down, we put them on our notes, and we may answer it next week whenever we film another. So, again, thank you for that. But what's the first question?
Okay, so our first question is from Domingo Salinas Jr. He said, as a backyard barbecuer and trying to practice for competition barbecue, what are the best and most recommended things to get to be ready for a competition? I have drum smokers.
So I think we talked about this a little bit in a video that we made recently, an actual video, not a podcast.
Competition prep.
And I think the biggest thing that you need to do, no matter what you're cooking on, I don't think it matters what you cook on. you need a timeline. I think that's the
Right.
biggest thing. So you should go to your house and practice every single one of your meats so you know, hey, a chicken's going to take me exactly 2 hours. A brisket's going to take me exactly 6 hours. And then you need to build a timeline based off of that. Are you doing IBCA? Are you doing CBA? Are you doing KCBS? I can't answer too many questions about KCBS because we haven't done one yet, but timeline, my opinion is huge.
Right. Make a schedule. And what you do
Mhm.
is you set alarms
Yeah.
on your phone.
Yep. So I set alarms on my phone because I will get in the middle of doing things, and if I don't 100% remember, like, oh, I need to go outside and start the drum, I'll forget,
Right.
and I'm injecting something or I'm doing something, and it is easy to forget. So I like to set alarms on my phone, and they'll be going off every 30 minutes for a
Yeah.
couple hours. It's pretty consistent. It can be overwhelming if you're not ready for it, but just practice and create your timeline. Feel confident in your cookers no matter what they are. Know what they're going to be doing. And the biggest thing is, man, just have fun. I will say that sometimes I'm not the best at it, but we are cooking barbecue. That's what we're doing. We're cooking barbecue.
Yeah.
Go make good food. Do your best to make good food, and I think you're going to be in a decent spot for sure. So that's my recommendation.
Yeah. And I think even though to some people it might seem like, oh, you're trying to get too technical, but get a notebook and write stuff down because so many times we've done stuff and then it's like, well, what did we do last week? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Like just
That was more in the beginning because
Right.
I would just like randomly grab something like, oh, I'm trying this today.
right.
And then it tasted so good, and we're like, what did we do? We don't do that anymore. We're pretty good.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
still write stuff down so that way the next competition you can look back at your notes and say, oh, I need to bring these things,
For sure.
because there's been times where we've forgotten things that you can't just go get at
Mhm.
HEB, Walmart, things that we ordered online that we had to wait a couple days just to get here.
Yep.
So I think, like you said, having a schedule, a timeline, making a list, these things, they don't even seem to relate to barbecue and the actual
Mhm.
cooking process, right? But
Yeah.
they are, I think, important.
For sure.
Having some sort of game plan, I think, is pretty important.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree with that.
Our next question is Villanueva Media. And this is a 3-part question. Number 1, it says, what's yours and Sabrina's favorite non-barbecue meal?
Oh, that's tough. But I would probably say non-barbecue meal. Gosh, it might have to be, man, that's tough. It might, because I love I love Asian food. Like my answer off the top of my head, if I had to be honest, like the first thing that came to my mind, and it's gonna sound crazy even to you because you're like, what? You don't always get that, but beef lo mein. And
Oh, really? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I love lo mein. It has to be the thicker, like udon style noodles
Right.
with a good beef. What do I typically get? Beef and broccoli.
Yeah.
That's my typical. But if the noodles are right, I love, love, love beef lo mein. So it would probably be beef and broccoli or beef lo mein. Those are just two of my all-time favorite things to eat. The reason I don't get beef lo mein a lot is because we don't go places where they have the
Right.
larger noodles. They have like the thinner. It's almost like the vermicelli,
Yeah.
vermicelli, however you say it.
Yeah.
But
Or like a spaghetti
yeah,
with
but
noodle.
yep, for sure one of those two for me. What about you?
I love a good soup,
Mm-hmm.
which sucks here in Texas because it's just so hot all year round. So you
Mhm.
really have to wait for that short amount of time where it's cold
Yeah,
to eat soup. But which is funny because everything we eat all year round is hot,
I know,
but it just seems like soup, you gotta have it cold.
for sure.
Or not the soup cold, but the weather cold.
Yeah,
So I really enjoy a good soup. And, most sandwich places around here don't even have good soup, so it's like only a small time of the year that I can get a good soup and I have to make it myself, which stinks, but
yeah.
yeah, I would say a good soup.
Cool. Well, that was a good first question from Villanueva. The second one I'll ask because it's seeming like it's specifically towards Sabrina. It has to be. So, how intimidating / difficult is it being a woman in a more male dominant hobby?
I don't really think that anyone cares that I'm a woman
Mm-hmm.
when they see us out there maybe competing.
Yeah.
I think it's more of we're so young. Like just
Yeah.
the other day, a salesman came and he was younger than me, but he asked, "Are your parents home?" You
Yeah.
know, so I am the parent.
Yeah.
You know, I think we're both really young in this field,
Hmm.
so I think at the end of the day, I don't really think anybody cares much about you
No.
unless you're winning. You
Yeah.
know, I don't think anyone's paying attention to you. And also me, I'm not really the type that like wants or needs like attention or recognition,
Yeah.
you know? So I don't really, it doesn't really bug me if anybody thinks anything about me, you
Yeah.
know? And especially with what we do, it's not a me thing, it's a team thing,
Yeah.
you know?
For sure.
So,
I mean, it's one of those things like I've consistently told people like, you might see me when it comes to the videos. Not anymore. There's more you in there. But this is more than me. This is way more than me. I mean,
right.
even my dad in the background, which you will never see no matter what.
Yeah.
He's a huge help and a huge part of what we do. Like, shout out to Dad. When it comes to our spices, that guy will drive to Houston, go pick them up for us, deliver them to my house while I'm at my day job. Sabrina will deliver spices to the post office or UPS or Postnet or wherever we need them to go. She'll deliver spices to our retail locations. She'll drive to Woodsboro, 35 minutes away, drop off seasonings to Tuttle's. She'll go to Bawari, drop off seasonings there. And then it's a true team thing here. Like, you guys see me and I get it. I understand. When Sabrina and I started this, for whatever reason, we made the decision that I was going to be the face, right? But I'm not the only person here that does this. Like, far from it. So we have surrounded ourselves with some great people. Dad, Sabrina. We even have some really, really good friends that show up and support, and they love us. Luke, Chance, Sid, Travis. I could go on. But, I mean, this is just not about us only. So, and that's also why I want to work so hard, because we do have people that they spend money, they drive,
Yeah.
they're there for us, they use blood, sweat, tears for us. This is way bigger than just me.
Right. And I do, in the cooking, you know, when I went to culinary school, I
Mhm.
mean, you see this as well, that surprisingly cooking, you know, is a male dominated hobby.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and so is barbecue, but I don't really ever think about, oh, like the women in barbecue, the men
Yeah.
in barbecue. So I think for any woman,
I
I
think
guess, if I
also-
were to give them advice, like just don't even think about that, because I think you're the second you tell yourself like, oh, I'm a woman, maybe people are going to say this or they're going to think this, or you know, you're already limiting yourself. You know, just don't even worry about that, because I guarantee all the people out there don't care either.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
they're worried about them, and they're worried about doing well, and they're worried about who else is doing well,
yeah,
whoever they are.
for sure. I actually don't think it's as big of a deal as, uh-oh. We're almost done, buddy. We'll be on in a minute, okay? I love you. I really don't think that many people actually sit here and think like, oh, Gulf Coast Smoke is Alonzo and Sabrina. I don't like that lady.
So many of the barbecuers out there, their wives are helping them. They're very involved
Yeah,
in what they're doing.
for sure.
So,
So I'm not gonna sit here and answer it for Sabrina, but I definitely don't think that we get any flack for her being there with us. I think a lot of people like it. You know, I get a lot of
notices me, which
well,
doesn't bother me at all.
no, I get a lot of people that come up and say, dude, like, it's amazing that your wife sits here and helps you. Like, she supports your dream. That is super amazing, and something that I'm talking about me personally, should not take, you know, lightly, because a lot of people out there don't have the support of their wives. Not that they're bad wives, but some ladies don't want to sit out there in the hot ass sun, and you know what I mean?
Smell like smoke.
Yeah,
and-
it's
yeah,
a
I
lot.
get it.
It's a lot, but
Yeah.
either way. So yeah, thanks for that question, Villanueva. We actually have one more part to your question, and it says, "What's your guys' favorite Pokemon?" So my answer is Charizard all day, every day. You know, man, I remember going to Hallmark with my mom when I was a kid, and I wanted that Charizard so bad, and I actually pulled it. So I actually pulled the first edition Charizard and a first edition Blastoise the same exact day, back-to-back packs. I don't have those cards anymore, but
You know.
yeah. Well, I grew up and I turned 13, and at that point I thought Pokemon was not cool anymore for around 2 years.
Yeah.
And then I realized, like, no, Pokemon is still amazing. Like, and I wanted all my stuff back, but I gave it away or threw it away or whatever.
Yeah.
Just dumb. Just
Yeah.
dumb. But either way, that's Charizard's for me all day, every day.
I always liked, because I loved frogs.
Mhm.
Like, always loved frogs. So I was a Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Poliwrath.
Mhm.
And then I think with the second generation, they added Politoed.
Mhm.
So I always liked them. But I think I always liked like lightning type because I like yellow.
Yeah.
So, I never know
So
who to pick.
so what would be your 6 that you would take to go fight the Elite Four? Do you
Oh,
remember?
shoot. So like Pokemon Stadium, I always would get like I would get Poliwrath
Mhm.
as my water type. I would probably either get like Charizard or like Moltres
Mhm.
for fire. I'd get like Zapdos for lightning.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, but the Elite
I
Four,
know
you
who else?
you know
Well,
what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know, but I'm thinking of like shoot, because I loved Pokemon Stadium. Like
Yeah,
one of the
Pokemon
greatest
Stadium was
games ever.
actually super fun.
So I always like would go based off of like the 6 I would go in Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah.
But shoot, I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know who I'd pick for for Psychic.
Alakazam.
Yeah.
I would go Charizard, Alakazam, Zapdos, Hitmonchan, or Hitmonlee, just depending on how I was feeling.
Yeah.
Because you always want a fighting type.
Yeah.
Lapras or Gyarados, it just depended.
Yeah.
Because I wanted something water. And then I also did like having Moltres because you did fight against an ice.
Yeah.
Someone in the Elite Four was ice based. So being able to burn them down with Zapdos and Charizard was always really, really good. If I had to have someone Leaf related for whatever reason, I liked Scyther. I also liked Vileplume.
So it's funny. I always liked Oddish because there was a card that
Mhm.
came out and there was a little frog
Yeah.
in the picture. But like I was never big on Gloom and Vileplume, so I'm like I didn't want them to.
Yeah.
I didn't want Oddish to evolve.
Yeah, but definitely for me, like, I always had to have Charizard, Alakazam, Zapdos. The other 3 I could change out, but
Yeah.
for sure. Anyway, we'll move on to the next question. We could talk
We
about
could go on and
Pokemon
on.
all day.
At AAA Sports 9898, they asked, other than your own, what 3 rubs or brands do you like the most?
That's a good question. So for me, it would be Postal Barbecue.
Yeah, they have some, or he has some very good seasonings,
Yeah.
I think.
It would be Postal Barbecue. It would be Killer Hogs.
Yeah.
And it would be Swine Life Barbecue. Swine Life's grit and grind are so good. And his prime beef is so
My beef
good.
is very good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So those would be my 3 for sure. Postal Barbecue, super underrated. Super.
Right. Those have to be some of like my favorite other than ours that we've
For
tried.
sure.
It tastes very simple ingredients.
Yep.
It tastes good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Killer Hogs we've been using like back in the day before we had our own season.
Yeah.
AP rub all the time.
Yeah. The barbecue rub,
Like,
hot rub.
Just the other day we had steaks for dinner. We used AP and then we used steak to add some texture.
Yep.
And man, that was good because I like a good crusty steak. So
Yeah.
I would agree with those 3.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool. So we're on the same page on that one.
Yeah. And we've tried so many seasonings out there, but I would say as of right now and for a while, those are
Yeah.
the ones I would stick with.
For sure. So our next question is from @BrandonMobley614, and this is to both. If you could only barbecue one type of protein for the rest of your life, which one would you choose? Pork, chicken, or beef?
So it's interesting because, like, to me, I feel like, oh, pork, go out the window. But then I'm like, dang, bacon?
Yeah.
But I think I would still get rid of pork, get rid of chicken, and I would have to go beef because, like,
Yeah.
I don't think I could go without like, some of my favorite things are beef ribs,
Yeah,
steak, any taco.
for sure. Yeah, I'm going to have to stick with beef too because I like beef ribs. I like brisket. I like burgers,
Yeah.
So just that one to me is a pretty simple answer. I'm sticking with beef all day.
Yeah. And I think I answered this, or not answered it, but we talked about it a little bit. Joe, I don't think I put that right.
It's Vara.
Yeah, I spelled that wrong.
Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit earlier, but this was Joe Vera's question. He said, is there a difference between grilling and barbecuing?
100% there is.
Right.
The thing that even I do a lot is I tell people like, oh, I'm barbecuing this weekend. I could actually be grilling,
Yeah.
right? Because
Big difference.
huge difference. So to me, I don't know if there's a Webster dictionary that has barbecue and grilling, but to me, barbecue is when you're cooking something more at a low and slow temperature.
Right.
300 degrees, 250 degrees, something like that.
More of a smoking.
More of a smoking. You're adding wood that's going to create flavor. You're getting stuff tender.
Right.
Grilling,
And I think you could split that into two different sections of low and slow and hot and fast. Hot and fast, I would still consider barbecue and
For
not
sure.
grilling.
for sure. And grilling, you're grilling over direct coals. Like when we made our barbecue chicken the other day,
Right.
I threw the coals all at the bottom of the Weber kettle and I cooked everything directly over coals. We got that char. We were done in 25 minutes.
Right.
Like the other day, we went to mom and dad's. We made fajitas, we made chicken thighs, we made sausage, and everything we cooked it directly over lump charcoal.
Right.
I mean, I'm talking, you're flipping it every 45 seconds.
Right. Those coals are hot.
Hot. And you think 45 seconds, that's not long enough. Yeah, right. Yes, it is. If you're doing true grill, I talked about this in episode 1. That is the way I grew up eating barbecue.
Right.
Everything, beef ribs, pork ribs, everything was cooked directly over coals. It's just the way we did it. So I'm used to that type of eating.
What would be your favorite, grilling or barbecue, as far as like what you like to eat?
What I like to eat?
Yeah.
I mean, grilling.
Oh, for sure.
Because I like char. Yeah, I like char flavored. I like that char. I mean, it's just really good.
Yeah.
You know, but don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't like I love barbecuing. I love
Right.
smoked meats, but if I had to choose one, yeah, I'd be cooking direct over lump charcoal. That's just, to me, that's the best.
Yeah, I'd rather, I mean, I don't want an overcooked steak, but I'd rather eat my steak overcooked with some good char
We talked
Then,
about this before.
right.
I'm with you.
than a medium steak that has absolutely no crust.
100%. 100%. So yeah, there is a difference between the two. Grilling, you're more over direct coals. Barbecue, you're creating some space, whether you're offset, whether you're using a
Right.
drum, whatever, and you're doing stuff a little
I
bit
think even-
slower, a little bit lower.
Even if you're using a Weber kettle and you have like a slow and sear attachment,
Yeah.
even though those coals are still right there closer to your meat, I mean, you're starting off slow. You're only lighting a couple and
Yeah. And
Going
that's
further.
barbecue. That's not
Right.
grilling. Just as
Right.
you're using a Weber kettle, you're not grilling.
right.
Yeah.
Our last question is from Travis. He said, I loved how you talked about all your other interests and past hobbies like anime and pro gaming. Do you think you would ever have anyone on the podcast from that side of your life, or is the podcast going to be mostly barbecue?
Yeah, so I know that we haven't really done the best job of it yet about bringing other things into the podcast, but the goal is 100% to get different types of things going here. I understand that there's going to be people who are a fan of that and who are not, but that's completely okay with us. This is something that we wanted to do, and we hope that you guys enjoy it however we do it. To answer that question, I definitely want to get different people into the podcast. Like I would love to get Flame Sword if I could and relive that 2012 Columbus win. I would even like to get Travis in here. So Travis and I, it's funny. There's so many things. Well, not so many things, but I've done things in my life that a lot of people don't know about. From the barbecue world, they probably are like, what are you even talking about? But Travis and I actually used to own a company that was called Blam Gaming. You know this, but we created a company that would do a few things. We would run gaming tournaments, we would create gaming content, and we would host like teams going to events or sponsor them, kind of. Well, we didn't
Right.
really do that much, but that was something I was really passionate about. I wanted to sponsor people and allow them to go to events and follow their dreams. Because, like I told you guys last week, I'm a cheesy guy. I want everybody to have an opportunity. If I can help, I want to. So I would love to even have Travis on here and talk about the Blam Gaming days. Where do you think we could have gone if we would have kept doing that? Like Blam ended and I started this right away because I wanted to keep doing it. I wanted to keep doing something. So yeah, the goal is to definitely get other people in here. But right now, our life is focused around barbecue and grilling.
Yeah.
And we love it. So we will focus heavily on that. But yeah, I would love to have other people in here and just see how things go.
Yeah, and not even just necessarily like our hobbies. I mean, we've talked about we would love to talk more about small business because there's so much that we didn't know that we still don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But that would be great to talk about.
Yeah, so one of my dream scenarios is to talk to Tuddles.
Yeah.
Go take our equipment over there, sit in their little, their kitchen, not their kitchen, like their dining area, and talk with Stanley, talk with Matt, talk with Cody. That would be like a dream setup for me personally, because I love the way they do things. And at this point, I consider myself pretty good friends with Cody. Matt and I are friends as well, but like I talk to Cody a lot. Like I was texting him all day yesterday. We're working on something together. You know what we're working on, but we're working on something together. So just be on the lookout for things coming up. But I would love to talk to Tuddles, and I would love to talk to other meat markets too.
Right.
In our area. How are things going? I mean, we know some people in the space as well, but they're doing like food truck stuff. So like Barbecue Fiends, Sebastian, even Full Send Barbecue, Andrew, like they both said that they would come on the pod and talk to us about how things are going in their world, right? We create barbecue content. We cook barbecue. They're making barbecue for people, for customers.
A completely different
thing, but you have to respect the hustle. You have to respect the grind. So if we can get any of those people here too to kind of talk about barbecue and small business at the same time, that'd be epic. That'd be fun. It excites me just talking about it. And I'm going to speak it into existence. I've told you guys, like, I still want to get the barbecue grates on here, So, yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's all the questions that we had today, right?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up episode 3. Don't forget, if you guys want to ask us anything, leave it in the comments. We're going to do our best to answer all of your questions. Give us some feedback, and give us some honest feedback. The wife and I, we can take it. If there's things that you guys want to see us do a little bit better, let us know. If you think that we're doing a great job, you don't have to let us know of that, because, we're looking for, positive feedback is great, but we're looking for feedback from you guys. What do you want to see from us? What would make this a more enjoyable podcast for you? Or is it already enjoyable? Do you like how we're doing things? And if you could have us talk to one guest, who would it be?
I think let us know what you want to hear in the episodes, because we're pretty open about talking about everything. That's why this is all things everything. So if there's things, other than barbecue, let us know in the comments. Even if you're not trying to ask a question, let us know in the comments what you want to hear from this, because I know there's a lot of people who are here for the barbecue, but we like talking about everything.
Yeah, my sister started listening to our podcast, and she said she likes it, which is awesome. Shout out to my sister, Kimberly.
We didn't answer her question, though.
Yeah, how much do you love your sister is what she asked. So we left that out, but obviously my sister knows I love her more than anything in the world. All my sisters, I love them a bunch. So shout out to them for supporting us through our dreams. They're awesome. But just give us some feedback. Let us know. And we're excited to see where this is going to go for us. We're having a lot of fun. Trust me, we're having a lot of fun doing this. So thank you guys for listening. We will see you on the next one. And bye-bye.
Thanks for watching.
Yep.
Or listening.
Bye.